There, I was like, this is a good omen. And fuck. Where I got killed really quickly on that one, didn't I?
Oh yeah, you got dragged around the corner and then insta-killed,
Oh
like,
yeah, I
2
got
feet from the safe room.
yeah, like I turn the corner, I get smoked. Like literally, there's no one fucking behind me, and I'm like, guys, I'm smoked. And then there's Ian just kind of fucking puts it around. Tomsy tried to come to my rescue, but he was swarmed, and I don't know what the. Who else was on my team?
You, Tomsy, I think you didn't have Donnie, you had Soulman. I've got the list here as soon as I figure out where the fuck I put my book.
Well, you're right. You had. I know you had Holly.
I had Holly, Scott, and
you,
Tomsy,
and Donnie.
Yeah, you had Ian, Tomsy, and Soulman.
Fuck. I feel like I'm being handicapped. I'm just throwing it out there.
I had, dude, I had both Ian and Ball 1 week, so you shush.
No, I'm not.
Wait, Moon, have you not played Isaac today?
Not yet, no.
You're killing me. I need to know what you think about today's run.
Okay.
Have you not seen my tweet?
I saw the score, but I don't look at the score until I've done it. Because I don't like to think, oh, he's got an easy run because I thought that previously and then instantly
I
died.
don't even remember my score. I won't read it out loud, but... Oh, shit. Yeah, okay.
Oh, man. I'm going fucking insane at golf. Like, I literally almost snapped my club today.
What was it? Was it a 98 again I saw?
Yeah, no, it was a painful 98. Like, it was everything, like, so, not driving the ball particularly well. Like, it's driving me insane. Like, I was up. I lost the front 9 by 1 stroke to Tom, the other guy that's in my card. And then I was up. I worked my way. I was up 2 going into the back. And, like, I had wasted my mulligan on a par 3 because I got way underneath it and it fucking landed in the water, but whatever. So, I get up there, whatever. The next hole, we both par it, go to the next one, and I hit a little duck hook right into the fucking creek. And my club, like, I almost threw my club in after it. I was so fucking mad. And I said, fuck it, I'm hitting 3 from right here. Fucking throw another ball down.
Yeah.
My ball hit off, I'm in the fucking woods. Another one, and like I'm just that I had to hit. Like I'm in like I'm canopy, so I can't hit the ball up in the air, so I got to keep it low. And I hit this perfect fucking 7-iron that goes like, and it like all of a sudden, and
like
then all of a sudden, like so then my hook comes in and it goes, poof, way off to the fucking left. I'm like
it got caught by the wind.
Yes, well no, but it didn't because I mean it's the way like as I'm coming through, because I caught it on the toe, and as the ball's coming in like off the face of the club, and it's coming through, and it gets this spin on it.
Oh,
so
right.
It spins, and then like a
off
curve,
of there.
like it breaks like a curve ball. So it gets to a certain point where inertia is going to take over and just go boop. So it goes whizzing by, hits the green, and goes off, and I'm like just on the edge of the woods. I go up to hit the ball, and there's a clump of dirt I couldn't fucking see.
Oh no!
So as I go down to it to come in the ball, there's like a lump of dirt like here. So as I go to make connection into this lump of dirt, it bounces. The club bounces, and I skull it like this. It goes flying like Happy Gilmore right over the fucking green. So then I'm like, motherfucker. So then I do like the fucking angry like fucking walk all the way over to the other side of the fucking green.
Get that ball.
Then the next one, like, didn't realize the ground was this soft, and I come in and I kill all the way under it, and the ball goes way up in the fucking air and literally traveled 8 yards. And like, so then I'm short again, and I'm like, dude, and I am fucking stewing, like I'm spitting fucking pennies right now, like I am fired up. So then I go over there, I get a chip, bounce it on, no problem, and then one putt him in for a fucking 7.
Oh.
And then he pars it, so he gets 3 strokes on me on that one. Then the next fucking hole. Same fucking thing happened. So I go up, I tee, hit a fucking little hooded thing, goes off into the fucking creek. God, like, fuck, like I'm just like I'm still angry. So I tee up another one, and I just like all home with it, like a laser beam off to the right into the fucking woods again. I'm like,
I swear to God.
So get the ball, I hit a perfect, like, not like, hey, fuck, it's as good as I can hit a low 5-iron punch shot. It is a fucking missile that goes flying off like 40, 50 fucking yards, like straight ahead. Also here, and there
God.
it comes right back to my feet.
God damn it.
So now I'm just like, oh,
I'm gonna burn this place down.
What's happening? So I get up, do it again. It gets all the way out. All the way, it gets through jail, like all the trees,
Windows
like
10,
all the
I don't
low
want to update
projectiles.
right now. Jesus.
It gets through all the
I just had
projectiles,
that.
and then as it's starting to gain some air a little bit, the last possible branch it could hit, it goes here, hits the branch, and drops straight down. And I'm looking like what did I do to this course?
Right, like what have I done to deserve
some
this?
Point, like statistically, I should have caught a break in the last 14 fucking strokes I just taken on these 2 holes.
Yeah. Well, and you're shooting correctly. Like you're getting the right shots at the right time, and then it's just like fucking you at the last second.
It's unreal. It was unreal. And now I gotta listen to him talk shit how he beat me this week. The whole week.
Great.
He only beat me by I think 5. Yeah, he beat me by 5 because I shot a 98 and he shot a 93.
That's not a landslide victory. You might want to remind him.
Well, yeah, since the kid I crushed him by 16 strokes a week before.
Yeah, like he didn't.
But
he's acting like he shot a 60. Like
yeah, and it's gonna be like, well, hey man, that was last week. I beat you this week. I was like, dude, I beat you on Tuesday.
Oh,
This sounds familiar.
What?
Nothing.
Hi, Samson.
Moon all innocent over there. Blink, blink, blink.
Damn right. I'm British with the king of innocence.
What is it? I had a really good rat game dig last night too. I can't remember what it was.
It was something along the lines of, if you fuckers keep this up, I'm gonna rat game out of this son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah.
Scuttle, hey man, can you not make out with my computer?
Also, I don't know what the fuck's got into me throwing shade before every fucking game these days.
Got a little
What?
sauciness in you?
Yeah, a little bit. A couple of weeks ago, I
Wanna bite me?
fucking dug Tomsy something wicked, and it was kind of not nice. And ever since then, I've just been doing it every fucking week.
You're addicted to it. Now you're an American.
I'm turning into knobs.
Oh. I literally. No, never mind. I'm gonna save that for.
Save that for tomorrow.
No, because I got something that's gonna be. If I can find this particular item, it's gonna be gold.
Gold,
Jerry.
Jerry.
It's gonna be gold, Jerry.
Hey, don't. Why are you chewing cables now, dude? No, for real. Don't chew that cable. That's for the
For
phone.
s-
I
for
want you
serious.
to shock yourself. Dumb idiot.
Wait, refresh.
Go lay down. You're the one that wanted to be in here. Don't wag your tail at me. I'm not afraid of you.
Oh, I really want a 4K projector, like I am fucking jonesing. I don't know why, but I just I have to have it.
It's one of those things where there's like enough 4K content on, especially on consoles and like Blu-ray and streaming, that it makes sense now to have a good 4K TV.
Well, I'm getting all right, so I'm having this weird issue, and I think it might be my HDMI cable, where every once in a while, like my screen will have this light amber tinge to it.
Yeah, it probably is your cable, yeah. Or do you
And
have
then
a
I got-
Switch?
No, it's going through the receiver.
Probably not the receiver, because I'm assuming it's not doing it for other stuff, right? Or is it like that's the only thing you have on down there?
No, it's like I originally had this problem with my PlayStation 4. I thought it was a PlayStation 4. I was like, why is it? And I get read in the thing that I might switch inputs from HDMI 1 to HDMI 2 and see if that sorts it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that thing, like that I'm playing with levels trying to balance it out, and now like I got this weird color palette going, and I hate it.
It's like a Windows 98 when you accidentally turn on high contrast, and you're just like,
yes.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It's actually, that's kind of funny. Me and my wife having our TVs right next to each other. Because of my migraines, I have to have everything dulled down. Like, I cannot have it very bright.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, looking at the same title screen on her screen and mine, it's like, God, your screen is so beautiful. The better TV as well, like. But
and see the colors.
It's like, yeah, exactly. Whereas mine just like a grey mess.
Well, yeah, Holly kept complaining last night because I kept picking her off because she kept peeking around corners. I was like, look, like granted, like I'm playing with a 100-inch screen. I got a lot more real estate to see you people.
Yeah.
Which I should have an advantage. I should be much better than I really am.
All right, you guys ready to kick this thing off so we can go back to playing Prey?
Should we start recording?
You already did. Come on, we're almost at episode 500. Like, I know your tricks.
What?
What?
But I am really happy both of you guys are enjoying that game because I remember how much you loved playing BioShock.
Yeah.
And it hits all those same great notes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm like trying to find 20 minutes here or there to play it and make a little bit of progress.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing there's a lot of little tasks to complete in there that's perfect for that style. Like to have, if you have a little window, you can
like
really.
In 20 minutes, I can clear out like a couple of rooms, read some emails, fabricate some stuff, and then kind of move on my way.
All right, just one last thing with Prey. How awesome is the recycler and fabricator?
I never want to stop using them. I use the recycler all the time.
Every time I get anything in my inventory that I can recycle, I just find something and just love the noise it makes when those chunks land into the bin.
Yeah, that ting 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 ting. Oh, so good.
And it didn't need to be like a thing like that either. Like usually like systems and games like that, it just automatically does it. It's into your inventory. You don't even need to play with it. Yeah. But the fact you have to drop stuff in and then pick up the stuff afterwards, like it's so cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My final thing before we actually start the show: Boston, embrace the Huntress. She is amazing.
The Nerf gun.
Oh yeah, I use that for touchscreens.
Me too.
That's about it.
I broke the story progress by doing that.
Oh really? No, I broke into a security station by using it once. It's not very easy to use when you're zoomed in all the way.
Yeah. Takes a bit of getting used to.
I didn't think it worked on buttons.
Well, when you pick it up, no, not when you pick it up. A couple rooms later, you find not the notebook. I think it's in an email of the person who developed it because he wanted to impress that lady he was chasing after.
Yeah.
And he said the version that you picked up is the first one to have capacitive tips.
Yeah.
And that's your hint for, it works on touchscreens.
Also, it says it on the tutorial screen for the bow.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
I didn't read it because that's the only one I didn't read.
Have you found any of the D&D character sheets yet?
No, I found an email where it's like, hey guys, stop leaving your D&D character sheets in the printer.
On the printer. Yep.
All right. You guys ready to kick this thing off?
Mm-hmm.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of TVGP Game Club. Another month has passed. We're at our third Saturday, which means we're going to wrap this guy up, start playing our next game, which I will announce at the very end of this episode. the only thing that's a little bit different for this this episode, we're going to be talking about the Flame and the Flood this time, is normally our rule is you have to play the game, obviously, and you have to finish the game. With the Flame and the Flood being a survival game and so being so dependent on not only the resources but kind of the role and the world generation you get, eased up on that rule this time. So as a result, we sort of have 3 varying experiences, let's say, in Flame and the Flood.
You could say that.
Knobs gave it a shot and wasn't able to complete the campaign. I was able to complete the campaign, and then we'll talk about it later. And then Moonpeer played a lot of it.
Yes.
So, if you're keeping score at home, there's our various states that we're in. And don't forget, before we get started, we'll be talking about spoilers. Not really too much of a concern on this one, unless you really care about the ending. But all right, let's move into it. Flame of the Flood released February 26, 2017 for everything except for PS4, which came out January 17th, 2017. I don't know why. So that's weird. Developed and published by the Molasses Flood. They are a company of AAA refugees from Irrational Harmonix and Bungie, located in Cambridge, Massachusetts, as they say. So, there we go. Came out on PC, OS X, PS4, and Xbox One. I usually keep a little character sheet here for all the characters that show up in the game. It's Scout, who's you, and Aesop, your dog.
Yep.
And
don't forget the other dog.
I don't know the other dog's name.
Neither do I, because I stuck with Aesop. Old dog with glasses is the best dog.
I thought they both were Aesop, but I don't remember.
He has a different name.
Aesop.
It's a Dalmatian looking thing, and it has a different name. But the menus all just say Aesop anyway.
Yeah. This game received a 73 on Metacritic and 76 on OpenCritic, which sounds about right. Piers, let's talk about this one, because I was wondering why I didn't hear about this game, and the last game on the list here is probably the reason why. Far Cry Primal, Plants vs. Zombies 2. Let me try that one again. Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2.
Warfare, yeah.
Super Hot Grim Dawn, and the one that came out of nowhere to be the heavy hitter, Stardew Valley.
Oh.
So if there's going to be one indie game you talk about during that release, it's going to be that surprise hit. So
yes,
this one got a little bit buried. So top of the pile or overlooked? I'd say overlooked, because I think this is the first most of us have heard of it. Except for Moon, who I think is the one that suggested it.
Yeah, I suggested it based off... I have a random thing where when I'm doing chores, I have media in the background. I just happen to be watching Giant Bomb Quick Looks, and I'm about a year or so behind. So when this quick look popped up, I saw it and I thought, well, that looks kind of cool. I'd like to play that. And then when we revived Game Club, I just threw it in the list because I actually wanted to play it and it would give me a reason to.
Yeah. Well, and these are the sort of good games I like for Game Club, where it's like, I don't know, man, I haven't heard of that, but sure, let's give it a shot. We gotta want to play it. All right, let's dive into the meat of it. What we liked, what we didn't like. Who wants to? Knobs, how about we start with you?
I like the music.
Music's great.
Yes.
Yeah. As you'll hear at the beginning and end of this episode, the music is real good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like the kind of folksy guitar sound and stuff it had throughout the game. But
yeah.
I don't know. I can't say the controls were really great. I like the look of it.
Except for Scout's face. I thought the style was real cool.
Yeah, it looked a little weird.
Yeah.
But, artistic choice, I guess. You want to look like a Monet painting or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Like, I really like the way, the look and all the stuff you can interact with on the little islands and whatnot. I thought the raft was a really interesting design, especially when you got that part where the back end of it, like, you had, like, a little car trunk to throw your stuff in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was really clever, and I like clever, but
The
Man.
raft is my biggest issue with this game.
It's also one of my favorite things about this game.
Yeah, I think it's a cool idea, and I think I'm trying really hard not to compare this to Don't Starve, because I think that's not fair to The Flame and the Flood, because Don't Starve has been out and been in development for what feels like a decade. So I'm going to try really hard not to. But I like that the game's design was built around these little islands, and it gives you these little tiny experiences of, well, here's some shops, and you can get these specific types of items from shops, or here's a church. So you sort of know what you're going to get when you land on an island once you're in the game.
Yeah.
The raft, I think the necessity, the piece of advice that everybody was giving was, oh, well, you need to get the rudder, and then the raft controls really, really well. But before that, it controls like garbage, and it's so hard to get from one place to a specific place you want to get to, and the controls are so much better with the rudder. It seems like a cruel joke to not start with the rudder and just give you that level of control when the raft is so fragile at the beginning, before you kind of beef it up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we should probably mention as well, for anybody listening to this who haven't played the game, it is a survival game in the same ilk as Don't Starve, but it's basically you jump on a raft, go to a location, and you head down a procedurally generated river, which is how you don't have to beat the campaign came in, because you can get really boned on some of the runs.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, that is part of the genre. It really is, hoping you can get that overpowered run where you have a strong beginning that carries you and you get that momentum to finish it. But I feel like for The Flame and the Flood, it takes long enough to get your momentum going, whether you have a good or a bad run, that by the time you figure out whether or not you're boned, it's sort of, you're sort of in the thick of it, and re-rolling it feels like you've just wasted your time a little bit.
Yeah. I could not eat enough ash cakes to survive the start of that game.
And like, that's some of the runs you'll have, and that's some of the genre, some of the stuff that I like and some of the stuff that I don't like, where sometimes you just find a whole bunch of, you break into a building and it has like 4 things of jerky, and it's like, well, great, now I'm good for 4 more areas. And then some runs you're just eating cattails until you die in the 4th section.
Yeah.
And that's all well and good, but I
kept screwing up with the cattails. I should have eaten them. I kept making rope, because you always need rope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing probably, I mean, me and you discussed this on Twitter, I believe, Boston. The thing, well, actually, no, it might have been Discord. The thing which I think helped with me was it can feel like a waste of time when you're doing a run and then you basically have to reset back to 0 and start again. But I learned so much more doing that during the game. Like, I then learned, okay, prioritize pouches to increase my inventory size. What to prioritize, what to do. Like, the second I've got the availability to get meat, I am poisoning that meat in case a wolf shows up at some point.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like in survival games that I feel like you have a fighting chance on every run. And one of my problems with The Flame and the Flood is there were runs where I felt like I couldn't overcome the game's mean spirit. It felt like, I think one of the 2 sins of Flame and the Flood is, one, I think it's too mean. And that's part of the genre, but it's a real fine line you have to dance. And I think the other half of it is it's kind of boring, in that you can go entire sections without really anything happening. Or there was a section I went on my successful run, there was a section where there were literally no islands to land on. It was just an empty zone. And it's like, well, that sort of stinks. And you can run into a whole bunch of islands where, just 5 bait shops. It's like, well, that's cool. I guess I'll eat some grubs for a little bit, but like, I think the thing about procedural generation is there needs to be the basics for you to survive, and that felt a little imbalanced sometimes on the Flame of the Flood.
Well, it felt like let's say you're playing Left 4 Dead without a safe room on like at least 2 of the runs that I was on.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't progress to the point where I felt like I was getting anywhere.
Yeah.
And it seemed like every time I landed, like every third island I landed on was just death.
Yeah.
Like I there was like the third island I landed on my first run. Like I think I left with like a broken arm and a broken leg.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yep.
Well,
I'm dead.
How do I fix any of this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Am I going to be on the raft for 4 to 6 weeks while I heal? Well, no.
I think, speaking of that, how do I fix this? I think Moon will disagree with me on this, I think, but I think the menus overall and the control scheme and the size of fonts and the size of the interface did not make the translation from PC correctly at all. I see this happen with a lot of indie games that are developed on PC and move over to console, and it's like, yeah, that looks good. And it's like, yeah, but if you're more than like 4 feet away from your screen, all these buttons are really tiny and all these bars are really tiny, and it's your quick use menu on the left isn't easy to use when you can't see.
No, it's not.
What icon am I gonna drink tainted water, or am I gonna drink daffodil tea? Like the differentiation between those two is pretty important, and it's 20 pixels. So the game needs a little bit of TLC, and I feel like it's probably in a state where it isn't gonna get any. The PS4 version isn't even getting patches, so.
Really? Because the Xbox One version recently had a patch that changed the title art for it.
No. Did not get that.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, it's frustrating because I think the one thing that it could learn from Don't Starve that would, I think, ease the difficulty curve, especially for someone like Knobs who hasn't played a game in the genre yet, is the great thing about Don't Starve is you can dictate what world you're generating. So in Don't Starve, you can say, like, look, I just want so many items, and I want all the consumables, and I want no enemies, and, I just want to have a run where I can learn how to make stuff and how to build a base and all this stuff. I think it would be great if, I know there's, the normal difficulty and the hard difficulty in Flame in the Flood, but I really wish there was just a world generation where it's like, look, I don't want any wolves on this run. I just want to go around and I just want to figure out what I can build and how I can trap rabbits effectively and how can I make all this tea, and I just want to go through a learning run as opposed to sort of being smacked around.
So you think like a creative kind of mode would be helpful for it, where it would help introduce you to that type of stuff?
Or at least an option to say, like, look, I haven't really played the genre before. Like, I need you to go super easy on me for a couple of runs until, you learn most of the recipes. You learn how to most effectively, pull everything out of an island and combine it and sort of move on your way as quickly as possible.
Yeah. I mean, in regards to the menus, like you were saying, we might disagree. I mean, there's certain things I do disagree with you on, like, the font set, the quick menu thing can go to hell.
It's not very
It's not great. I pretty much only got used to using it because I literally only kept exactly what I knew I was going to use in that. Anything else I just discarded onto the boat kind of thing.
Yeah.
The actual menus themselves, they're not bad. They're not great. Like, out of the three of us, I think I have probably played the most garbage of garbage games.
Yeah.
And, the menus in this, they're not they're not Gridmasters level of menus.
No, yeah.
But they're not, they're not the worst menus either.
Sure, yeah.
So, like, I kind of it was iffy at first, but I kind of got used to them after a while, so I was fine with it. Same with the controls. When you start, those controls, they feel loose.
Yeah.
Like, they just don't feel really tight, and I don't know if that's a design choice or not, but when you put some time in, which I did, I was fine with it. I knew exactly how far I was going to run. I knew how long my sprint was going to last. Everything about that, I felt like I knew. But I think the big divisive thing between us, Boston, the raft, I think that is the thing that's going to kick people new to the genre in the face most.
Yeah.
Because not only do you have to worry about, your temperature, your food, your water, and your stamina, basically, you also have to then worry about the health bar of a raft, which can really mess you up. Which,
oh yeah, I mean, I was bouncing around that thing like a pinball.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At the start of the game.
Well, and I'm glad you mentioned the 4 bars, which again is fairly standard to the genre. I really wish, when you would go somewhere to go to sleep, I wish it would surface much more clearly how much thirst and hunger you're going to lose.
I think with us, this is where the issue comes from for the font size.
Yeah.
Because when you go to sleep, it says plus 25, plus 50, plus 75 on your sleep.
Yeah, minus
and
10,
then minus
15.
certain.
Yeah. It does tell you. I just wish it was more clear about, here's the trade-off, which, again, is fairly standard. But, you're going to sleep this much, you're going to lose this much. It would be better if that screen would say, all right, if you sleep for however many hours it is for plus 50, you're going to lose, let's say, 15 from hunger and thirst, which will bring you down to X amount.
You think you should have this is your current minus 15, this is what it will be kind of thing.
Yeah, because like if you go and you're super tired and you're pretty well fed, but you're going to go sleep for 8 hours, let's say you're at 50 hunger and you're going to subtract 35, it's going to leave you in a really bad spot. So it would inform you a little bit better to say, like, all right, here's where the trade-off makes sense. Here's where I sort of cut even between all these numbers. And it feels like a lot of it is just potentially developer experience and potentially, like, we don't have more time to continue to polish this. We need to put it out. And I respect that.
I mean, we were talking earlier how basically there is very limited story in it. There is some story, but the story in it is surprisingly well hidden as well.
Yeah. Like,
you get a lot from, I don't know how many of them you met, but the island residents.
I met all of them, yeah.
Yeah, like, you get little snippets from them. Like, one person talks about how it's basically like a Rapture-like event.
Yeah.
There's all little bits and pieces thrown in there, but I think what we do need to talk about, and this is where the spoilers kick in, is that ending.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the parts that I was propelling me through the game is you Moonpear's wife in chat says quilts too. I think between the people that are living in this area and the quilts, you get a really good idea of what the story is happening. Some big event happened where this giant amount of water just washed away seemingly most of America. And you're just kind of trying to survive. And, when you get to the halfway point where you basically bring the radio up to the radio tower and someone says, hey, we're evacuating to Angel Falls. Let's make our way there. And when you get there and you have that whole BS section with that bear, you find out, like, hey, we're going to Kingdom.
Just out of curiosity, when you got to Angel Falls, did you panic when you crash, basically?
100%. I was like, well, there's nothing I can do to get out of... Oh, that was a story. Okay, fine.
Yeah, because at that point, it gives you a dead end, and you've got no choice. You crash into it.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming because it's actually in the trailer for the game.
Oh, okay.
So I was kind of lucky, but my wife hit it before I did, and she panicked. She was like, "No, I've got nowhere to go."
I was really pissed because I thought I had made a wrong turn, and I just like screwed myself, and I was pinballing in this thicket, and I was just like, "This is, I swear to God."
What do you mean? They're all wrong turns.
That's true. I think the thing that really sold me on this game is the ending. I especially because the game is split up into 10 areas, and basically the 10th area is the ending, and it's on autopilot for the most part. But for me, the 9th area was not only continually raining, seemingly continually at night, and and just freezing. And it took me, I think, 3 hours of bashing my head against it to get the right combination to get through there. And I think the strength of the ending made me feel a lot better. I really liked that you get out of those rapids, and it opens up to basically what looks like the ocean. And you're sailing alone with just that one song for a couple of minutes. And I like that when you pull up to Kingdom, it is a theme park. And it's basically like Disneyland. And this group of survivors has made it into this like well-cultivated last bastion and sort of welcome you with open arms. Like, you see that you're the missing like pack that's there on the board.
Because there's 8 packs on like 8 of the backpacks on a board, and there's one missing. And it's this exact same backpack that you have with the same radio and everything in it. And as you're walking through it, like just walking through that area was fantastic, because it's like the music is really amazing. Like the music deserves so much credit in this game for a lot of things, but like that ending when that song's hitting, and then after you get to Kingdom and it just chills out and it's ambient music, but you're walking through and it's fences and rabbits and fields and farms, and it's clearly a well-cultivated, completely safe zone where they're self-sufficient. And as you're walking through it, you're just looking around, and it's so great to see after all the stuff you've been through. And it was hard at points. Like, I'll be the first to admit there are times that this game frustrated me so much. But it's one of those things where when you get to that point and you see the ending, and then literally just this door opens and a big white light comes out and hits you. And I think the text line reads, "Tell me, traveler, what have you seen out there?" And then cut to black. Like, that ending to me was incredible.
I agree. I feel like the strength of it and the positivity of it, I feel like made up for a lot of my frustrations, but not enough that I wanted to go through and do more runs to kind of bash my head against it, or do an endless run, which is probably where I would enjoy the game the most. I know you've done some endless runs, right, Moon?
I did. I started the endless mode because there is achievements related to it, so of course I need to go for it. There is 2 achievements in particular, which is get 100 miles and 200 miles down the river.
Oh, God.
Yes. The problem is I think endless mode, at least it was when I started it, my version has been patched twice since I started it. When I started it, it looks like it's tuned to difficult, because between me getting on the raft and getting to the first island, all 4 of my meters were at halfway.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. Like, I did some streaming of it, and if you go and look at the stream, it's a case of I started it, I was like, wow, this is bad. This is really, really bad.
It's immediately gone wrong.
And to make it even better, the 3rd stop-off point I was at, so still technically the first region, but the 3rd stop-off point, Wolf.
Oh, wow.
Which
that's too early for that.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to go for it, because I mean, despite the negatives about the game, which it does have its fair few, I really love this game. I know you guys don't agree with me, but I genuinely enjoy this game a lot. Like, the art style, the music, all of its faults all come together to me to make a game which I actually like playing a lot. And it's kind of a very good wind down game for me.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it's difficult and yet you kind of have to focus. But at the same time, I'm able at this point in my life to be able to say, well, I just died. Oh well. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not. I just felt, man, I got a raw deal every time I rolled into that world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the experience that you had, Moon, was the experience that I feel like it's the same thing that a lot of people, when they bounce off of roguelikes, is sort of like, well, you almost have to have that really great overpowered run for whatever game you're playing at the moment to kind of feel like, okay, now I've learned enough, now I've kind of gotten my feet wet enough. And I feel like I never really got the chance in the Flame of the Flood, and I barely scraped by on the run I ran through, and I couldn't, unlike Don't Starve, I couldn't kind of tune my experience to kind of learn what I needed to, and that's what really made me keep bouncing off of it. Between that and it felt mean, kind of the whole
Yeah,
thing.
that ninth area as well, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, the ninth area is a nightmare area, but on my campaign run when I got past it, I literally had enough to just ignore every single stop-off point.
Yeah.
I was prepared enough, like, the fact that you could, like, we were talking about this in Discord. I think it was me, you, and Bill Lisford were all talking in Discord, and you said, "Oh yeah, I had cattail clothes." Like, my jaw dropped because all I could think was that should be wolf or bear by that point.
Right.
But like you said, it does not do a good job of tutorializing much.
Yeah.
Like, it does the basics, but that's it. So, like, I learned real early, kind of to my own luck, that the tainted meat kills a wolf. And you have the potential to pick it up again when it's been eaten.
Right.
So that's why as soon as I get raw meat and get the plant that's needed to poison the meat, I do it, and then I always have it, because then if I run into a pack of 3 wolves, I will poison all 3 of them. Then I've got the meat, I've got the wolf skins, I've got everything I need from them, and I can move on.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the strengths of the survival genre, is if you can play it at the same time you're talking to someone who is playing it. You know, it's like the perfect playground game where it's like, oh man, you know, what you need to do is take X, Y, and Z and put them together, and then that's a bear trap, and that will get the bears, and then you'll get all this cool stuff. And like, that's part of the reason why I love Don't Starve, is my wife and I were literally playing it next to each other. So when we'd find something cool, it'd be like, oh, if you put these things together, you can make this thing, and then it makes that thing way easier. And I didn't have that for Flame of the Flood, and I think that's to its detriment.
Literally what you've just described. Yeah, what you've just described with the situation with you and your wife, that was me and my wife.
Yeah.
Oh, but if you do this, you can get that. If you do X, you can get Y. This helps, that helps. Together, we figured out you need 2 arrows and 2 spear traps exactly to kill a bear.
Right. And I feel like for most people, that's where the tutorial comes in. Or that's where, you know, an easier difficulty comes in, or being able to keep your recipes from run to run. That's where that sort of stuff comes in, where you're like, oh, right, okay, now I remember, I learned that on my last run, so now I remember how to get spear traps, and I can start working towards that. That's a little bit where Flame in the Flood trades on discovery instead of tutorializing, which is fine, but that it makes that learning curve way, way steeper than it needs to.
Yeah, it does. And I think, to be honest, like, with rare occasions, Fez being a very rare occasion in this situation, you cannot make a game that needs that kind of communication anymore.
Right.
You can't make, as you so aptly called it, you can't make playground games anymore.
Yeah.
Because unless someone's willing to go to the Wikipedia page for that game, or for the website and the forums of that game, which not many people are. Like, very few people will do that.
A lot of people...
people don't interact like that anymore.
Well,
like, most of the time, it's like, if you're not interacting with a live streamer, you're not getting any feedback on what you're doing.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people, you see it on Twitter, you see it on GAF, you see it on Reddit a lot. A lot of people will say, like, oh, just make it easier on yourself and hit up the wiki when you start this game. And a lot of people will be like, no.
No.
Like, I don't want to do
No.
it. That's not fun. I should be able to, the game should educate me enough to get me started and then sort of expand from there. Obviously, like you said, Fez being a sort of exception in a much different way. I could talk about Fez for days, so I won't broach that subject. But yeah, I agree. I think the Flame and the Flood could be really great, and I sort of would love to see Molasses Flood make another game like this, learning from all this stuff and sort of getting over, I'm sort of assuming they had some porting issues, especially with the PS4 version coming almost a year later than the Xbox One version. Seems like it might have been a troubled development. I'd like to see them take that experience that they've had and put it into another game and sort of hone what they've been working on.
Well, they could only make it better from there, because I think... for a first run, I think this is their first game, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for that, they got a lot of positive... Well, a few positives in my mind, but...
Yeah.
They know how to make a game look good and move well. The movement in that game really was nice, especially with the way the river flowed and had the little spinny bits in it.
Yeah.
Where you knew exactly without it actually directly telling you which way that current was going.
Yeah.
And that you couldn't fight it if you weren't equipped to, which I never was.
And we haven't really played a game that's been set like this. It hasn't been set in like America's heartland that's disappearing because of some sort of catastrophic event, and it's sinking. Like it's completely underwater. That in and of itself is pretty cool. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, me and my wife love this game so much.
Yeah.
She did send me a quick 2 paragraphs in regards to this.
Sure, yeah. We're sort of wrapping up anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, I figured. So my wife's opinion on this for everybody listening. While certain aspects of the game could do with a bit more polishing, I thoroughly enjoyed the game. The art style, music, and uncertainty of just how far you had to go really immersed me, and the ending was fantastic. At the beginning of the end, it made me think it was truly all for nothing. That fighting my way through the riverside was just a bunch of pointless nonsense. It was a brilliant way to continue that uncertainty until the very end. Also, I really love going "Blah!" at the wolves. Which
That's true.
What I could always tell when my wife was playing The Flame and the Flood, because if I'm in the kitchen or the bedroom or the bathroom, all I'll hear from the living room is "Blah!" And I know it's
Take that, wolves.
shaking her head. Yes.
She does bring up a good point that I had forgotten, which is when you breach the 10th area and it opens up and the camera pulls back and there's just nothing. There's nothing at all except for like a couple of buoys and maybe a sunken car. That is something I did feel where it's like I escaped all of this to just die. Yep. Like there's nothing out here. Like Kingdom is a lie. This is mean. Which would have been a fine ending too.
Yeah, that's what everybody says throughout the entire game. Like all the people you run into are like, "Why are you going there? That's hopeless.
Kingdom
you shouldn't
exist,
be doing
man.
this." Yeah, everyone's
it's
putting
like
you away
near.
from it.
All right, well, I'm glad I didn't finish it.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah, it's that ending. Like me and my wife actually discussed it after it happened, and at the time, I don't know if she's changed now, but she said she would have preferred if it cut off with you literally just floating along.
Yeah.
The ending that we got, I think I like more, but the other way would have been fine too.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you made it to the Gulf of Mexico. Good luck.
Yeah, you're dead. Yeah.
Here, have fun. Now we have sharks.
Yeah. All right. Any last bits of opinion here before we wrap this guy up?
For me personally, this is a game that I loved. Like, I'm not a huge survival game person, generally speaking. I did love this one. Like I said, it has its flaws, but I'm very capable of overlooking those flaws. And as someone who has nothing but time right now, generally speaking, past couple of weeks aside, usually I've got nothing but time, so a couple of hours of lost progress doesn't bother me in the slightest.
Yeah.
So stuff like that I can overlook and just embrace. But I genuinely love this game a lot, and based on the Discord chat of the community, like there's a couple of people who were in my department, and then a couple of people who literally just brushed their hands on it and said, nope, not for me. A couple of nubs is in there.
Well, so clearly, this isn't a game that really tickles my fancy, to say the least. So my review is going to be, meh.
Yeah, I mean, I looked online just to see what sort of the, beside sort of reviewing outlets, what the general populace was saying. And it basically boils down to those two camps. One is, it really clicked with me and I really loved it. And the other one is, I got a little bit into it and I was kind of bored and I didn't like it, so I gave up. There didn't really seem to be a middle ground of it was fine. And I think for me, my biggest recommendation is it's not a good intro to the genre. That should be Don't Starve. I think Don't Starve is a fantastic game that has had the luxury of a really and almost Binding of Isaac-like development life cycle. And I think the level of polish and the level of interactivity really shines there, and I think it will allow you to learn the genre much more easily than Flame in the Flood does. And Don't Starve is in our list of games to play at some point, so point in the future
I originally played Don't Starve on Chrome when it first came out.
Wow. It is a much different game now.
Yep.
Well, I don't know. I don't think I'd do well in a survival flood.
No, I'd run into a wall if I'd be dead.
I would be dead and drowned before you even know it.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about our next game.
What is it?
Random.org has come up with one of my favorite games of all time, Hyper Light Drifter.
Ooh.
I am so excited to play this again. This is out on Windows, OS X, Linux, PS4, and Xbox One. I really like it. Everyone should give it a shot. I'm very excited to talk about this. Very excited to play it again because I'm very excited. Light Drifter.
It's the first time.
What the heck is this?
It's a video game?
Piece of paper.
No, okay. I'm writing it down. Hyper Light Drifter. Hold on. All right. I don't know what this random list of numbers means.
Did you do that while you were asleep?
I don't know.
Minding something over there?
Does this have to do with number 23?
God. All right, well, that's our episode. Thank you very much, everyone. We will see you in about 4 weeks, the third Saturday of next month, to talk about Hyper Light Drifter. And we will see you next time.
See ya.
See ya.
All right, thank you very much, everyone, for watching the live stream or watching the video. If you are,
thank you.
We will see you next month.
Baker's Local.
Go play Hyper Light Drifter. Bye.
See ya.